Hello and welcome to a Daily Record Sports Special. Today I'm joined by my usual sidekick, Anthony Evans. Anthony, how are you?
I'm very well, Scott. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And in conversation today, we have a very special guest in former Aberdeen defender Angus MacDonald. Angus, thanks for joining
How
us.
are we
How
doing?
are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you, chaps.
Good. So Angus, how's life treating you just now?
Not too bad, not too bad. We're getting there. Been a bit of a different 4 or 5 months to probably what I'm used to, being in season and stuff. But no, it's been another challenge, and one that we're coming out the back end of now, and should be getting fit and getting back into what the daily job should look like.
Obviously, you left Exeter City at the end of the season. So what's the next step sort of thing? When are you looking to get back in?
As soon as possible. I'm fit and I'm ready to go now. We had a slight little hiccup, little niggle that was eating away at me at the end of last season. So it just took a little bit longer, took a little bit of time to sort of nurture and care through it. But like I say, we're fit, we're ready. The next steps is get back to the day job.
Yeah, I can't imagine anything worse for a football player not being able to do the thing they love the most.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously stuff I've been through in the past, and that there's an obvious reason why I'm not playing. This one was just, like I say, a little cut that got infected and just took a little bit longer. So that was probably more frustrating and probably more hard to deal with than probably stuff in the past.
Obviously you played the majority of your career down south. You had your spell up at Aberdeen. Are you options open for anywhere, the right ambitious club next?
Yeah. Are you trying to say that they want me back? No. Yeah, definitely. I'm getting to that stage of career where I just want to enjoy it. And if the right opportunity comes, wherever that may be, then I'll definitely look at it.
Good. Looking back, obviously we've got you on to talk about your time at Aberdeen. There's a bit of a revival in terms of results recently. That's the team 8 games unbeaten. On Thursday night they play their Conference League game at home against Racing Club Strasbourg. The French League Insider, they've already qualified, sit second top of the group, but it's sort of similar to your own Conference League experiences a couple of seasons ago, and the game at the end, I think, where you were captain when Eintracht Frankfurt had obviously already qualified for the next stage, and they came to Pittodrie, and there was a bit of a shock result in that one. I think the Aberdeen fans would be looking for something similar on Thursday night. Can you talk me through the memories of that one?
Yeah, definitely. Like you just said, it's about time that the results picked up for them, because they had a bit of a shaky start, didn't they? I think they were still drunk from the Scottish Cup win. But no, it's good to see them picking up results now. But yeah, like you say, it's a massive game, especially being at home. And I remember obviously finding out that I was starting and finding out I was captain against Eintracht Frankfurt, and it was, for me, a massive achievement. And it was one that we were all hungry to do well in. Not that we weren't hungry to do well in the rest of the group stage games, but it was just, it was sort of like last chance, like everyone puts the body on the line sort of thing. And, we ended up obviously turning them over 2-0, I think it was. And, it was a great night at Pittodrie. I wish we just could have had many more of them.
Yeah,
Maybe Barry Robson would have picked you.
You probably felt with that game as well that it was your rewards for those group stage games, because a lot of the performances, I think you'll probably agree as well, and Scott will agree that you probably deserved more points. So it was a nice way to sort of finish off them experiences against some really big teams you played in those.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it's been a similar story for Aberdeen now. So I can't talk too much 'cause I'm not there, but do really well in Europe, perform really well, and then not so good in the league. And that was the same, what was it, the 2023-24 season, whatever it was. But I think we all look back to that European campaign and sort of kicked ourselves a little bit. If you look back at the Pauk game, being 2-1 up, I think we were, and then we lose 3-2. Helsinki at home 1-0, and really, they didn't turn up on the night. We had our chances. If you look back and think if would have beat them at home, beat PAOK at home, you know, away from home's different. You know, you're going to PAOK away, the stadium, the atmosphere, the team, you know, on paper, they should beat us. But, you know, the home games, definitely, we kick ourselves because, you know, we take the win against Frankfurt, you know, arguably should have beat Helsinki away as well.
Mm.
You know, we didn't start too well until my screamer went in, it woke everyone up. Um, so, you know, you look back and think, oh, you know, we did do so well. You just wish we could have, you know, gone that extra yard to qualify.
When you look back, Angus, though, I mean, you went out to Frankfurt and pushed them all the way, sort of thing. As you say, PAOK, the 2 games were close. Probably the home one, as you said, the sore one was Pataudry. But I mean, looking back as a player now, I mean, I know you only played the last 2, but did you see that as a missed opportunity?
Yeah, definitely. And that's probably why, you know, I would love to have played every minute of every game, don't get me wrong. And, you know, it's hard to sit there but you got to be a team, and, you know, it's not just me sitting there kicking myself because I'm not playing. It's, you know, the whole team felt like we deserved more. And maybe there was a little bit of, you know, hangover going into the league form, and that's, you know, we do so well in Europe, everything's hyped up so much. And you're like, oh, we just narrowly missed out 3-2 defeat, and then we take it into like a St Mirren or Dundee, and you end up losing. The fans are on your back, and it's just a hard, vicious circle sometimes to get out of.
What was it like that the Frankfurt game? Because I mean, European nights at Aberdeen, especially when results go your way, certainly are special.
Yeah, they are. And, you know, I had a couple where I was sat there and looking from the subs bench thinking, wow, I'd love to be out there. You know, it's great atmosphere, but even more special to captain the side, to beat Frankfurt, to walk out. It was amazing. And not many nights will beat that.
Yeah. I do remember it being slightly odd. I think it was not like a 5:45 kickoff or something like that. So it was a little bit odd playing at that time in a home game. But like I say, the performance soon got the fans sort of going.
I don't know if that had something to do with the flare that someone chucked at their end, and they were worried about the fans and the ultras coming over from their side, so maybe it made it a little bit earlier. I'm not too sure on that one.
Allegedly. I think it was a bolt. It was actually a bolt from the sky. I don't think it.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see anything anyway.
Just in case you ever try and backdate it. Yeah. But I mean, in terms of, the European games, you spoke about. You played against BK Häcken, didn't you? One of the games in the qualifiers for the Europa League, didn't you?
Yeah, I come on away, and I think was it 3-3 it finished that game, and ended up coming back 3.
Too late on.
Yeah. We were 3-1 down when I come on, and end up 3-2. So that was another special night. Looking back, there's another memory that I'll hold close to my heart.
Yeah, when you got the draw out in Häcken.
Yeah.
And then obviously you went into the group stages, and you had to wait to Helsinki to get the first taste, didn't you? As you say, you scored that goal and sort of melted the snow, but it seemed like weeks and months of frustration when you hit that shot.
Oh, there was so much frustration behind that shot. I was unfortunate that I picked up a little injury at the start of pre-season. I was chasing Johnny Hayes around in Portugal, but I remember working so hard to get back fit. Not just because of the European stuff, for the league stuff as well. Like I say, I wanted to play, I'm a professional athlete. I want to play every minute of every game. But I put in a lot of work to get back fit for some of these games. And it was, for whatever reason, not picked and stuff. So I sort of just had to bide my time, but sort of glad I did, because that made it all worth it.
Because you had to wait a long time for, obviously playing down south, you don't get the option of playing in Europe sort of thing. You had to wait your time, so I suppose it was worth it in the end.
Yeah, definitely. I think just everything, looking back in my career and stuff, and I think I've said it many times, did I think at 31 that I'd be playing in Europe? Probably not. So yeah, it was a great moment.
Yeah, just on that game as well. It was obviously the snow and stuff, and what happened with it. I haven't cleared the pitch and stuff. It was kind of a just a bit of a crazy one, really. But like you said, it could have easily nicked the win there as well. With it, obviously they got the goal back in second half, but could have easily got the 3 points there as well. Now,
yeah, definitely. I think I can't remember who it was. I think it was Duke, maybe late on. It was just like, if you'd have we'd have beat them away, and then say, arguably beat Frankfurt at home. I know they had already qualified, and the game was a little bit different probably for them. The result didn't matter for us. We wanted to win. So yeah, that's what I mean. It was just a frustrating campaign in the end, but some great memories nonetheless.
Yeah, have you struck a better ball, scored a better goal than Helsinki?
I mean, I tried to recreate it the other day. I don't know if you've seen on social media. And
Social media, yes.
Yeah.
it took me a few retakes on that one. I can tell you that much.
The point is, it almost was null and void anyway. If the Aberdeen fans had kept throwing the snowballs, your goal would have counted.
I know. I'd have been pissed off.
So, I mean, in terms of this season, though, Aberdeen, they've made a slow start in that the Conference League again, sort of thing. The last two results, they've got a couple of points. They drew away to AAK Larnaca, who obviously have been doing well, and beat Crystal Palace. And then at home, they drew with Noah. That's maybe a bit similar to the HJK home leg, where they probably should have won that game, sort of thing, to get themselves back in. But they need a couple of wins now. I mean, they need to beat Strasbourg, and they need to win away in the last game at Sparta Prague to have any chance of qualifying. I mean, what have you seen of the European games so far, I guess?
Not a lot in it. Not a lot in it at all. I think it comes down to fine margins. A little bit of quality in front of goal, a little bit of quality, trying to keep it out of the net, sort of thing. And that's all it comes down to in these games. You're playing against top class players, from all over the country, sort of thing. And yeah, it just comes down to fine margins. The hunger's there, the desire's there, the performance is there. It's just that lapse of concentration, maybe split second is what makes the difference against some of these top teams anyway.
One memory I've got, I guess, you was a non-playing one when you were out in Greece, and obviously the ugly and unfortunate incident with Papagai. The racial comments were made, and it all kicked off with the PAOK fans, and it was yourself, and was there somebody else up at the fence, or were you man alone against the PAOK fans?
No, I had big Reece Williams on my back.
Was it big Reece?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. So I felt a bit more confidence when I saw him behind me.
I thought you were going to take them on. I thought you were going to take the ball on them.
I mean, I would have. I probably would. I wouldn't be sat here today, but I would have.
But does that just show? I mean, obviously you were clearly upset. Nobody wants to see incidents like that at all, but it shows as well that these guys, that squad, you're all in together, weren't you?
Yeah, definitely, and it just shows the tight knit change room that we had. It wasn't just Pappy was new to the team, sort of thing, and it could have been anyone on the team. It was unfortunate it was Pappy, but we all had each other's back, and I think that was the frustrating signs of the form and stuff. And sometimes you see teams go through it, and they're not together off the pitch. That was never the case. We were so close off the pitch, we just couldn't put the performances and the results together on the pitch sometimes, and it was frustrating to try and get that message across to the fans.
Yeah, just adding to that, that's the team now seemingly some to have turned that corner where maybe what you didn't have was they're getting the performances in the league now to sort of take into those European games. Maybe it was kind of the opposite with your European campaign. So again, it looks like they're on the right track now.
Yeah, it's always going to take a bit of time, especially when you're trying to bond together a new team as such. And it's always probably harder when you're bringing in foreign lads. They're probably used to a different culture as such. They're probably not used to the way the Aberdeen fans are and how much they want to win, sort of thing. So like you say, they've turned the corner now, and I'm sure that comes from the likes of Shinnie, Nicky Devlin, and people like that really help push that along.
That last campaign, Dante Polvara seemed to keep some of his best performances for the European stage. He's been in and out the team, but in recent weeks he's been playing every week, sort of thing. That he said that's what he wants to do, because that'll just be a big part of his future. But do you think he's really kicked on and matured as a player?
Yeah, definitely. He's always had the ability. That's never been in question. Like myself a little bit, he didn't get the rub of the green as such, and the performances, not the performances, the consistency of like starting week in, week out. And sometimes you don't see people's best side to them when you're in and out the team, because it is so hard because you're not fully match fit. You can't get a rhythm together, you can't get confidence together. And from what I've seen and from what I've heard, that he's got that now, and I can only see him going up.
That was you make a good point there, because Aberdeen have got quite a big squad just now. So a lot of players getting chopped and changed. Some players, it's hard to get a run of games. When you don't get that run of games and you're in and out, it can be difficult to hit your levels, can't it, as a professional?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think people realise how hard that is. You come in and you're expected to just do as well as the last person that was in, sort of thing. But for one, you're probably not as match fit as the last person who played the last 6 games. So yeah, it's difficult, and it's mentally difficult. Watching from the side, and no one's happy sitting on the bench. But then it's almost like he's had a point to prove when he has been picked.
Yeah. And one player who has been getting those minutes on a regular basis is Jack Milne. Obviously, he was a bit younger in that European game and that campaign, but it must be delighted for him to see him becoming a regular starter.
Unreal. It's like you say, it's fantastic to see him go on to start so many games. I think he made his 50th appearance not too long back, and for someone of his age, that's amazing. It just goes to show. Just goes to show the sort of level that he's at and wanting to stay at and wanting to go on to. Like, he's going to have a great career. I remember speaking to him loads of times. He's one of my coffee buddies. We used to go and have a coffee, and I'm hoping that I shared some experience with him, and fair play to him, because he's taken his chance and he's done really well.
Without giving away too many trade secrets, what was he asking you? What was he bending your ear about?
It could have been all sorts of Milne. But no, I just think it was one of them where he was, probably a bit frustrated to be sat on the bench, because he's got massive confidence and belief in him, in himself. Believes in the qualities that he can bring to the team, sort of things. I think when, a bit similar to myself, when results weren't going well, but I still found myself on a subs bench, he was probably asking a similar question.
That experience is certainly vital then. So you've kept him on the straight and narrow, is that what you're saying? Helped him get where he is today?
I wouldn't say it's just down. I wouldn't say it's just down to me. There's great experience in that dressing room, and we all like to help each other out as such. So if I can share something, if Shinny can, if Devs can, and the good thing with these young lads at Aberdeen is that they do want to learn, they do want to listen. So no, well done to him.
Dylan Lobin's a player from the academy as well that's kind of burst onto the scene in the last few months. Did you ever come across him when he was obviously a bit younger then, but was he in and around the group at that time?
Yeah, definitely trained with us a few times. And you always saw potential. And as a young lad, sometimes you get chucked in at the deep end, and sometimes you take chances, sometimes you don't. It takes you a bit longer, but he's obviously taken his chance and gone on to do really well this season.
Yeah.
In terms of your own time at Aberdeen, Angus, if I remember correctly, you came in just after Jim Goodwin had departed, and just when Barry Robson had come into the hot seat. How did that come about? Was that in place before Jim went, or was it one that when Barry came in, they sort of just came to yourself?
I don't actually know, to be honest. I think the first conversation I had or heard about Aberdeen was just before you lost 5-0 to Hibs.
We won't mention that. Well, we'll edit that out.
And so I think that was on the Thursday, and obviously the game was on the Saturday. And I remember being sat at Swindon. I wasn't playing at the time either. obviously, they were looking to go in different ways, and I was like, well, look, I'm not gonna risk getting injured and playing on a Saturday in case a chance of a move does come, sort of thing. And I sat there and had a list of a few teams that I was potentially speaking to and stuff, and 1-0 down, 2-0 down, and it went on, and I was thinking like,
And it's still on the list.
but they went from no, I'm only messing. But yeah, no, I think the conversation started when Jim was in charge, and then luckily enough.
Don't you want to answer that question?
Oh.
I don't you want to answer that question now.
No, it's so yeah, no. And carried on, which was nice, and then obviously signed when Barry was in charge.
You came into that team, and I mean, you went on I think you came in, Matty Pollock came in. Was it Jay came in as well? Jay Gotter, who was the goalkeeper?
Jay played a few games.
They played a few games there. So those changes, and then suddenly the team rocketed at the end of that season under Barry.
Yeah, definitely. It was something that I'd never seen or experienced. The togetherness, the drive, the hunger, and it was amazing what a few good results could do. It was almost like when I signed, there was no chance of us finishing top 3. Two wins back to back, and you're thinking, we've got this. And no one said it. It was just almost like an automatic feeling within the camp.
Yeah, I mean, do you think it's almost sort of overlooked at that time, where obviously when you arrived, they got some really difficult results before them, which are well documented. We don't need to talk about, but to then go and win 7 games in a row at one point and get 3rd place, it must be like a real, even between the lads now, they must sometimes think, "Oh, we actually managed to do that."
Yeah, definitely, and anything's sort of possible. We probably got them 7 results at the right time. If left it later, probably wouldn't have finished there. Left any sooner, results can always change towards the end and give Hearts a bit of a chance. I think Hearts finished 4th. I think we picked them, didn't we? But yeah, I think when I first come in, we were 17 points adrift, and a bit of luck goes your way. Hearts start to slip up, but then they're looking back at us thinking, "Oh, there's another win. There's another win. They're not winning," and it just momentum took us, and it all swung in our favour.
I think that,
and it all finished with that night against St Mirren that we told you, didn't it? It must have been a special.
It did, and then Matty Pollock and Ross McCraw ran over to the fans singing "Hearts We're Falling Apart Again."
Why did you not join them?
I was too busy in the change room.
What was that night like?
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. Like I say, I think I got asked the other day, what was my top 3 sort of memories of Aberdeen, and it was, the goals, obviously Celtic, Helsinki, but that night beating St Mirren to get top 3 was definitely up there. The celebrations afterwards and stuff. I think we had Celtic on the Saturday, and the last game of the season. Mm-hmm. We won't talk about that one, but yeah, I think we had too much partying.
Was there any match fit?
A couple, 1 or 2 maybe.
See, and you're criticising the team for having a hangover for winning the Scottish Cup for the first time in
35 years. I won't. No criticising there. No criticising. I know what it feels like.
I'm only joking. Joking.
Just on Matty Pollock, obviously you two had a great. You just struck up straight away. What was that like? Why did you just kind of hit off like that?
Just we both come in at the same time, and I think when you go into a club, you sort of like, who can I attach myself to that's in a similar situation, or who can I bond with? And Matty come in the day before me, I come in the next day, both the same position, both wanted the same results, and I can't remember. Like, Matty's a big donut anyway. He is just a big donut, and we just got on really well. We were going for coffees. We weren't living too far from one another, and he got a dog. Like, he's now got kids, so I'll say he couldn't look after the dog, but no, we were always going on walks and coffees and stuff, and it was just a bond that was there that never really had to be worked on, sort of thing. And we're missing out Scalesy here. Scalesy was a big part of that as well.
True.
Yeah. He's been, obviously, Aberdeen tried to get him back as well. I don't think many people expected him to break into the Celtic team, but he's one of the first defenders on the team sheet now, isn't he?
No, I don't think he did. I think that, there was a conversation of coming back, and then obviously, injuries at Celtic and stuff, and he's gone on to do amazing stuff for them.
Yeah, and likewise, Matt as well. He's managed to become a regular at Watford as well. He must just be buzzing for the both of them.
Yeah, it's great to see. It's great to see them both do so well. I'll take full credit for both.
Good. See that run, obviously that run to third spot. I mean, it was great form in that, and then obviously Barry was interim boss, and during that run, they obviously gave him it on a full time basis. What do you remember about that? And Barry and Steve Agnew, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they deserved it. Everyone loved playing for him. Going in when it was one of them. He'd done so well in the interim part, and then obviously results didn't turn around for the next season and stuff. And obviously, that could have been down to such a busy campaign with Europe and all that sort of stuff. He sort of near enough had the same sort of players. So it was a no-brainer for the club to give Barry the job. Done so well and proved himself. So yeah, it just was a good appointment. It's just unfortunate for him and the team and the fans and stuff that started that season we didn't pick up as many wins as we needed to.
Yeah. And obviously in that season as well was the cup final, I guess, which was a big disappointment. Obviously it came straight after that Frankfurt game as well, so spirits were high and it just didn't go work out the way you wanted on the day.
No, definitely, it's one of them. And there was nothing in that cup final game. I remember being sat there thinking, we've got this. Like the Rangers, didn't really turn up on the day as such. I think, did we lose 1-0?
Yeah.
To lose 1-0. Yeah. It was frustrating, it's gutting sometimes to go, and obviously, I was a part of it. Wished I could have been on the pitch to help, but it was frustrating being there and losing 1-0. To be honest,
after Barry went away, Barry left. It was a bit up and down, wasn't it? There was a few managers. Neil Warnock came in next short term. What was that? Knew this
was gonna come.
34 days, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you remember?
What a great 34 days that was.
How was it? Was it? You think it was just something different for him they wasn't used to?
Probably not different to what I'm used to. I think different to what probably the foreign lads were used to. When we heard Warnock was going to be a manager and stuff, I think all the English and Scottish lads sort of knew of him, sort of knew the presence he carried, the respect he carried, and what he's done in the game. I really loved it. I got on really well with him, and he sort of gave me my chance. I think it's Kilmarnock in the cup, and then I sort of, when Pete then took charge, I sort of kicked on from there, sort of thing. So I have nothing, sort of bad to say about him. For whatever reason, it didn't work out. I don't think any of us could really figure out what the reason was. It just seemed to sort of be one of them seasons until Pete took charge, and then results did start to pick up, but it was sort of a little bit too late for us.
Yeah, that season.
But that was, I think it was maybe rock bottom was under Pete, wasn't it? I think that you got beat at Dundee and you came in and read the Riot Act, I think, then looked at ways all together to lift it, and from then you went on that brilliant unbeaten run to the end of the season, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes you need a rocket to, and I think we all realised that. It was like, what are we doing? And then obviously when we lost, it wasn't a great performance by any means. But he stamped his authority on it, and we all listened, and we all stuck together, and we got the job done as such in the end. I'd say we finished on a high, but I got sent off at Ross County, so.
But just on Pete, it just shows you how highly he's rated. That obviously he kept on by Jamie, and he's a key part of the backroom team as well now.
Yeah, massive, and I've got a lot of respect for Pete. We've had our fair share of arguments over the time, and we've we've been, at each other's throats, St Mirren away when, he thought that I could have got closer for the second goal and lost 2-1, in the last 2 minutes of the game sort of thing. And I think it was just, a mutual respect thing. I wasn't going to stand for something and, respected the way he did things and stuff. And, we got on really well. And it just goes to show that the respect that he held from all the team, really. So, I really like beating him. I hope he goes on to do really well.
Do you see him being a future manager at Aberdeen or elsewhere?
Whether it's at Aberdeen or elsewhere, I certainly see him being a future manager. I think he's definitely got, he's got all the experience he needs there. And, he's a great coach. He helped me so much with my time at Aberdeen, especially when I wasn't playing. And I think that's a sign of a good coach. Everyone's, blow smoke up your ass, when you're doing well and you're on the pitch sort of thing. But, ultimately when you're struggling, you're not in the team and, you're mentally struggling, you're a bit down the dump sort of thing. Pete always sort of kept me buzzing, buzzing around the place, give me, you get your chance, keep at it sort of thing. And, he kept pushing me, which was good.
Yeah, you mentioned obviously maybe the minutes you weren't getting as many minutes when Jimmy came in as well, but I guess Pete was always there to keep your spirits high. And but what was working with Jimmy like as well? Did you have a good relationship with him?
Yeah, good relationship. Like I say, didn't play too much under him, which was unfortunate. My performances weren't there. I think I'd done well at Hearts away and then come back out of the team and then went back in the team sort of thing. And I think after that, my performances, my own standards weren't there for whatever reason, whether that be rustiness, not playing as much, fitness. But no, to work under him, really good, really professional. And I think we all saw that from the first week we had in Portugal with him.
Angus, can we just rewind you back to the end of that previous season, but under Pete? I mean, the Hampden visit, the Celtic game. That was a bit of an emotional roller coaster for you that day, wasn't it?
It was emotional as such. I think I cried after that game. But yeah, it was. I actually remember Pete saying to me, "Don't get caught on the ball because Keogh goes fast." 10 minutes in, I got caught on the ball and 1-0 down. But then, to sort of come back from that, and it's hard to, because you've cost your team, and it, something I don't often do it, but credit to myself, sort of thing. I stuck at it and carried on, and I was captain, so I had no other option. At a moment in time, I let the team down, I let Pete down, but I was like, right, well, I'm going to make up for it, and certainly did.
What was the feeling like when you scored?
Oh, sweet relief. sweet and utter relief.
Yeah, the jubilation behind with the Aberdeen fans for those goals. Obviously, it didn't go the way you wanted on penalties. But I think if you ask a lot of fans, even prior to the final last season, that was one of the best days at Hampden had, really, with the scenes that happened in that day.
Yeah, definitely. You could just tell. When that goal went in, I think there was a sense of like, we're going to do it, we're going to beat them, sort of thing. And obviously, penalties 50-50 anyway. It's it's one of them. It's a hard way to lose. It's a great way to win. But yeah, I think it was almost, even afterwards in the dressing room, it didn't feel like we lost. It almost felt like what we've been doing all season. We go toe to toe with champions and nearly beat them. Why has the results not been there, sort of thing? But like I said, it wasn't meant to be our day. But it was certainly a good day out.
I think your dad gave more interviews than you that day.
I know he did. It's still on YouTube, that interview. You have to find it.
Brilliant.
It must have been good though. I mean, your dad not being up at the game in that.
Yeah, I mean, he's
witness it, and you've been there. You've been through so much.
Yeah, he's followed me all over my career and stuff, and it was, to be honest, it was more for them. Having them at the game, sort of thing, to witness it, and it was, my dad's got Scottish background and stuff, and he's he's not a big fan of Celtic, so it was probably nice to score, and it definitely made him proud, which was nice for me.
that run at the end of that season, obviously you were unbeaten, and then the losing at Hampden on penalties, it seemed to give the team a lot of confidence, and then the team just kicked on from that. The following summer when Jimmy came in, and obviously the team started really well with that unbeaten run, but there seemed to be a real confidence from what had been built the previous season.
Yeah, definitely. It all started from, sort of when Pete took charge. And obviously we got a bit more security when Jimmy come in, and, Pete was still involved with it. We added a few players, and, just kicked on. And, again, what was it, like 14 or unbeaten at the start of that season or whatever it was, and, sitting top of the league. But no, like I said, there was a massive confidence going in from what we'd built in the previous season.
I mean, Hearts, so they had someone, so they're having someone similar this season with a good start, Hearts. What was your feeling at the start of that season when you were unbeaten, and then obviously the team went to 2-0 down to Celtic, came back and got the draw? What was the feeling, truthfully? I know we ask players to say, oh, it's one game at a time, but what was your thoughts?
It is one game at a time, and it is. But there was a real confidence. I don't think we could quite believe it, to be honest. But like you say, you don't really have too much time to think about it because there's so many games. You're back to back. You're in training, you're playing. You're back. You're recovering. You're in training, you're playing. Sort of thing. There's not enough time to sit and think, oh shit, we're top of the league here. But it was a great feeling nonetheless.
Yeah, one of the games in that run was that Rangers game as well, Pittodrie, and I think that was with the fans is another one that they're not going to forget for a while with the atmosphere that night.
No, and obviously for the Aberdeen fans to beat Rangers at home, it's always a sweet one for them.
For sure.
Just go into social media now, get some questions for you. Anthony, do you got any?
Right. Yeah, I think we've got a couple, yeah. So Daniel Ray, I can maybe guess what your answer might be here, but who was your favourite centre-back pairing to play alongside with?
That's so hard because I love Skelzy, but I'm going to have to go Matty Pollock.
And another one from Bob. I think, again, we touched on Warnock a little bit, but 3 words to describe that 34-day period. If you can.
3 words.
Put you on the spot here.
Yeah, you have.
That's better than our questions, but that wouldn't be hard. Certainly mine.
3 words.
I promise to go lightly on you.
Even one word.
An experience.
There we go. Yeah.
Right.
You got some, Scott? Yeah.
TD's asked on the back of that first season, how big a miss was Ilbert Ramadani from that Dons team?
Yeah, massive. The work. It was almost like the work he put in and the running he done, him and Shinny together, they bounced off each other really well. So I don't think probably anyone thought he was going to be as big a miss as he was. But it just goes to show the player he is and the quality he brings.
Yeah, he's hardly missed a game in Serie A since he's been there, I think. So it just shows you,
I know. Yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, he's not the most gifted player, but he does the job he needs to do.
Yeah, and that's something that we probably did miss.
Definitely.
This is a hard-hitting one, so you better get the helmet on for this one. Joe's asking, do you miss Rowies, macaroni pies, and Empire biscuits?
Macaroni pies.
All right, we'll go through. What was the highlight for you at Pittodrie?
So many. At Pittodrie.
Oh no, just at Aberdeen. Yeah, at your time.
There's so many. It's got to be that goal in Helsinki. My first European start. To score it, to give the fans something to warm up about. But like I said, there's so many because I had so many great memories. But
to get goal of the tournament as well for that one's an extra.
Yeah, I got goal of the tournament, goal of the season at Aberdeen Awards as well. So it would have to be for that one for me. Yeah.
What did you get for goal of the tournament?
Not a lot. Not a lot. I was expecting like
No?
an award from like
Yeah, some kind of
UEFA
plaque.
or something. I got nothing.
No, that's a
Maybe I have to
letdown.
reach out to him and see if I can get something now. A couple of years later.
Maybe it's still in the post.
Jack the Kitman's probably got it.
Yeah, he's got a Aladdin's cave in there, isn't he? Henry Lane is asking. Well, I'm not sure if it's Henry Lane or I think it might be your agent here. Will you be coming back to Aberdeen?
We'll have to leave that one down to, like I say, the agent in the club, but I don't think so.
Ian Taylor was asking, how did the atmospheres at Pittodrie and away games compare to what you'd experienced previously in your career?
I've played for some great clubs with some great fans and some great atmospheres, but nothing really does compare to the way Aberdeen fans travel, the way they are at home, especially like I say. It's good and bad because when you're doing bad, you certainly know it. But like when you're doing well, there's no better feeling. And one game that sticks out for me, and I remember sitting there, standing there on the pitch, I think with Matty Pollock away at Dundee when we beat them 3-1. And I remember just looking up, being like, "Wow, this is what fans really are," sort of thing. And it was great to play for them.
Mm-hmm. Good. And then Chidi again asks, where does the 22-23 run, where you won every week and Hearts lost every week in brackets, rank in your career in terms of enjoyment, especially considering how low everyone at the club was post Jim Goodwin to the highs of that in the 3-0 win against St Mirren, which you've touched on?
Yeah, it'd be up in my top 3 most enjoyable periods of my career for sure.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, I mean, you invested a lot in the club in your time there, but you did a lot away from the pitch as well with the community trust and with the cancer treatments and the patients, etc. I see you posted 6 years cancer free.
Yeah, 6 years cancer free. It was actually back in October, was the anniversary as such.
Right.
So it took me a while to get the video together, sort of thing. And it's been something I've been wanting to do to sort of inspire others. And that's with stuff I've been through throughout my career, throughout my life, sort of thing. I've got a platform, and I don't think many footballers realise the platform we do have, and the fans do listen to us. And I've sort of realised that, and I wanted to sort of give back and sort of help as many people as possible. Hence why I got involved with the community, and I've done that not just at Aberdeen. I've done that at a few clubs I've been at, and it's something that I enjoy. It's something that's close to my heart. So yeah, it was a no-brainer for me, really.
And I saw the stuff you did as well on a lot of social media with the Movember campaign, with raising awareness for men's mental health as well. So I guess another issue really close to your heart.
Yeah, it's even closer to my heart because on the 9th of 9th day of doing November sort of thing, my dad got diagnosed with prostate cancer. So it was even more special to me to be doing that, and it's something that I'll definitely be doing a lot more of.
Fantastic.
How's he getting on?
Yeah, he's not too bad. Couple more appointments and stuff, and we'll know the extent, sort of thing, and the treatment going forward. So hopefully get a bit more news, a bit more positive news. Hopefully this side of Christmas.
Fingers crossed. I mean, the good thing is that you've gone through it and come back stronger the other side, isn't it? So
yeah, definitely. So we'll stick together and we'll be the warriors, and we'll get through it, I'm sure.
Get back up to Hampden for late in the season with the Aberdeen support.
There's a few more interviews going. I'm sure you wouldn't mind.
Good. Obviously, in terms of, but you did a lot up here of like work with the cancer was and different things. A lot of stuff went unnoticed. But is that just something you felt you wanted to give back your experiences and helping others who are going through difficult spells?
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't something that I felt like I had to do. It just felt like something that was right for me, with stuff that, like I say, I've been through. And it's almost like it's a good feeling, even if I help one person, that's my job done. And it's also nice is because, I remember being young once and, meeting my Southampton heroes, Matt Letizia, James Beattie, Brett Ormwood. Obviously completely different circumstances, but I remember what that feeling was like as a kid. So, for fans, for people going through stuff, just a little pick me up. Whether it be a 5-10 minute chat with myself, because I probably didn't realise how loved I was at Aberdeen by the fans and stuff. So people, a lot of people probably did look up to me in a way, and it was, to be honest, I went away just, feeling really nice and really good that, I've helped, like you say, even if it's just one person. It was just, real feel good factor and helping people really.
Yeah, and you mentioned it with obviously you left the Dons a while ago, but that relationship with the fans is going to be there forever. With with that time you were there.
I can tell. They don't stop messaging me.
That's it. Yeah. But that must give you great satisfaction. You can always rewind some of those great memories back at any time with all the clips on social media and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. I just keep reposting them every day.
I mean, Angus, in terms of, well, even when you obviously left Aberdeen and went to Exeter City, you played a good cup run in that, but even when you went away, I mean, I know you came back up to Aberdeen and obviously your boot sponsors are Skechers these days, and you come back up, and I think with the part of the community trust, you gave out dozens of pairs of boots, did you? You come back up, didn't you?
Yeah, they're not a sponsor. They should be. So if you're listening to Skechers, sponsor me. No, I've got a good relationship with them. So there was an idea that me and Liz had come up with.
Liz, baby.
Yeah. And it's hard. Growing up. My mum and dad never had the money to go and buy me the best boots. Or I remember Puma Kings and stuff. I think one Christmas I did get a pair of Predators. And it was like, for me, I was like, wow. And I think I wore them until, there are holes in the bottom and all sorts. But, some of these kids aren't fortunate enough to, be able to afford a pair of, nice football boots. Because obviously you've got different standards of football, different levels of football boots. You've got the pro level, and, it's just nice to be able to, and, to see their faces sort of thing light up when there's like 15, 20. I think there's more than that. I think we had like 200 pairs of boots. Jack the kit man was fuming because I took up all his wardrobe. But no, yeah, it was just, I did come back up, and it was something that I'd promised Liz and the trust that I would do. So it was nice to give back.
Okay, good. Are there any wee funny stories around from your time at Aberdeen that stay with you?
There's got to be hundreds.
Not
you
ones
can tell us in
share with
camera.
you. No. Yeah, there was plenty of stuff that went on, that's for sure. To be fair, a lot of it did happen at the training ground. Johnny Hayes running around, causing mayhem normally all the time. But yeah, lots of good stories and lots of friends that I'm sure I'll keep in touch for the rest of my life, sort of thing.
I guess that's brilliant. So, in terms of a great time at Aberdeen,
amazing, really good.
One of the main ones of your career, one that was
I achieved so much on a personal level. It was just from start to finish. I wouldn't have liked it to have ended, but ultimately I've got to play games. So no, it was definitely a highlight that I'll look back on with more positive memories than I will negative ones. Good.
And so when do we hope to see you back in action, back in the green stuff?
As soon as possible. I'm just training my own at the moment, staying fit and just waiting for that phone call.
It's worked quite well with a January transfer window just around the corner.
I know, I was sort of half worried that, I wasn't going to make the transfer window sort of thing. I know I can sign anywhere at any time. But, more teams are probably going to be open to seeing and hopefully bulking their squad up a little bit.
Good. Angus, that's brilliant. Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate you joining us. All the best. all the best in the search for the new club. Wishing your dad all the best in his fight, and fingers crossed it ends the same way as yourself.
Thank
All
you.
the Aberdeen fans will join us as well. As I said, thank you very much for joining us at Record Sport. If you want to keep up to date with all the latest football news, join us at thedailyrecord.co.uk and across all our media channels. Until the next time, thanks for joining us. All the best. Thanks.